Never Let Me Go is the newest horror movie out on the big screen. So let's talk about it. Okay, so Never Let Me Go, the newest and latest horror movie out on the biggest screen for you guys to go and check out right now. Now, this movie stars Halle Berry. You know her. She is starring in this movie. And the trailers looked very intriguing. You know, when I saw the trailers, I was like, okay, so this is like a house with a rope attached. If you let go of the rope, the evil's going to get you. Okay, what is this evil? Is it extraterrestrial? Is it demonic force? Is it someone just going crazy and seeing random things? Like, what is going on here? And I really wanted to dive into this. This looked like it could be potentially one of those movies where I was like, okay, I like this horror movie. However, I walked out of this movie after watching it feeling a bit dissatisfied. I don't know. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's anything that's going to change the horror space in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it's going to be one of those movies that we're going to be talking about in like the next year. I don't think it's one of those horror movies where you're like, whoa, that movie was really good. I need to watch that again. It's not that. I think, look, Never Let Me Go has potential. This had a lot of potential, a lot of upside value if they executed this well. I just don't think they did. Firstly, the first two acts, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to, develop the characters, develop the story, try to give you an idea of what is going on in this situation. But the pacing of it, and it was dull in the first two acts. You're kind of like, okay. Look, I'm going to be honest. I was kind of trying to stay awake during the first part of the movie. And I didn't feel like anything was happening. We're just watching kids and her go out with the rope, walk, and then it's like, oh, here's a thing. And that was it. Like, nothing actually happened. There was no real tension. I never felt like they were in danger. I never felt like, oh, okay, here we go. This is like the moment where I'm on the edge of my seat because this is like, the tension is all there. I'm feeling everything for it. That just never happened in this movie, which is unfortunate because the trailers look like that's what I was going to get out of it, but I just never ever got that. And then you get to the final act and it just becomes this mess. It really does. I'm sitting there and I'm like, so is it this? Is it that? Is it that? Like, you just have like 500 questions all running and converging against each other to the point that it's just like a complete mess that just doesn't make any sense that's happening. You're like, okay, so is it this, that, what's going on here? So that to me just really like took away from it. And I was just sitting there and I was like in the final act, like, don't know how I feel about this ending because it's just doesn't make any sense at all. But that's just me for that one. Now, I will say the kid's performance, I did enjoy the kid's performance. I thought both of them were really good. And I think the most interesting part of the story for me was their relationship and how certain events, what those events did to those characters and how one would react to this incident this way, one would react this way. And I thought that was probably the strongest part. And I feel like, to me, that I wanted to see more of that dynamic between them two going through that way. And I felt like there just wasn't enough of that. They did a little bit of that. And I was like, okay, now I'm enjoying where we're going with this story here. But then it kind of just goes away from that. And I was like, okay, that to me was the strongest part of this movie. And I thought their performances were good. Obviously, Halle Berry she's good in this movie. Her character was a character that I did not expect to be that way. I really didn't. And she performed it really, really well. But I don't think she had enough material to work with to the point where you're like, I actually care for that character. I kind of ended up starting to hate that character. And I was kind of like, can we just kill off this character? I don't really care for this character. This character is kind of annoying me now. So it got to that point. Cinematography wise, the location was stunning. The forest, there were some really, really good shots. There was some shots that worked with trying to create some tension and get you to have that bit of a fear factor going. So there was moments of those incidents, like scenes and stuff like that, that actually worked, but there wasn't enough to the point where I was able to grab onto it. So that was kind of a thing. The score is interesting because there's moments where it worked really, really well with the scene, but then there was other scenes where I felt like the score took away from the tension that they tried to build up in that scene, to the point where I was like, okay, is this like now an action sort of film? Am I supposed to feel like action vibes now? Or am I supposed to still feel that vibe of the horror that I had? So I feel like it was hitting and missing on the horror elements throughout. There is some blood and gore in here. There is one real like blood and gore that was like, okay, that was insane. Some of the makeup as well was fantastic. When you see certain characters and stuff like that with this look of them, I was like, okay, that is interesting. Now, as for like the villain itself, which is the evil, they call it in the movie, I like the idea, what they were trying to do with it. I really like the idea. I understand the concept and idea behind it. And I think that is a clever thing to do, and something that you can tie into history itself through humanity. You can tie it into that. And I thought that to me was intriguing. I just don't know if the execution was completed. There was moments where, like I said, with the two brothers, I thought were fantastic with the evil itself and how that dynamic worked with them. I thought that showcased it in a great way. But I just feel like with the other characters involved in the movie, I just don't think they translated the evil well enough to that point to get across what they're trying to tell with it. So, Never Let Me Go, it has its issues, has pacing issues, has some story issues. It does get messy towards the end. But it does have its moments where it is good in that. And I feel like some people are actually going to like this movie, which is going to be awesome. So if you're one of those people that like the movie, let me know in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on the movie? Did you guys enjoy it? Because I'm very intrigued to hear if you did enjoy it, why you enjoyed it and stuff like that. Maybe it might, I like to hear other people's views on the movies and stuff like that and where they're coming from in that. But for me, it just felt flat. The trailers looked very promising, but this movie just did not execute, in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.